Hi, you've got the right podcast. I'm just the guy that normally doesn't talk on it. It's Friends with Death Benefits. I'm Joe. Tiff's here. Justin's here.
Hey.
Everybody's okay, I guess is a good. We're here. We're here. We're going to talk about ourselves and being true to ourselves and how difficult that can be, and being true to other people and how difficult that can be, and especially when it comes to grieving and mental health or self health. Listen to it. It's also there's also a lot of fun and pictures. We talk about pictures very, very soon. Thanks for listening.
Hey guys, welcome to the studio. Guys meaning you, Justin and Joe. Hey.
Hey.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
they're not here. They can't.
Jesus, I feel lonely
hear in
enough.
spirit. Oh, come on! Don't
You
put
ever
that
go
on
into
me.
a room and you're just full of people and you just feel
We thought you were
alone?
talking to all guys.
I'm looking dead ass in
Metaphorically.
Justin's
Yeah.
eyeballs,
Yeah, that is true. She is
peering
doing
into
that.
your
She
soul.
is.
How are you?
I'm alright. I think. I don't know. Are you alright?
No,
Oh.
no.
No.
Off air for the last 15 minutes, I just had a holy roller about trying to parent a teenager. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got off topic and talked about dick pics, and then Joe got involved, and it was heated in here for a second, and I apologize, guys.
No,
I would like to separate myself from the topic of the DPs.
Yeah.
Not
was-
that I received dick pics
Yes.
from these gentlemen,
No.
but just I was bringing awareness to the topic of unsolicited.
I
dick
regret
pics.
nothing about that conversation. In fact, I
Did you
feel
learn something?
I feel I'm a better man for it.
Okay, yes. Joe is already he's like, I already do this shit. You just don't do that.
Yeah.
You do not do that. You don't
Yeah.
do it. But also,
thought
if
that
your
was
wife
common
asked
knowledge,
you,
but-
if your wife asked you to send one, would you send one?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, just curious.
Because I don't want to put anything like that on any sort of device. My phone is
Yeah.
creepy enough. I took a picture
Good
of ribs
answer.
over the weekend, and I pulled up that picture, and it showed me every other picture of food I have on my phone
Oh, wow.
in a category, and it freaked me out, and I started just
So-
deleting all of them.
So I just had a thought.
And so
are you,
if I take a picture of that
Yeah.
and then put that on my phone, what other things is it going to pull up?
Right.
are you guys
Right.
Android or iPhone people?
iPhone.
Android.
Okay. So Tiff,
Yep.
do you ever find like your phone does like I don't even know how to get into it. Sometimes I'll just like swipe right when I first open my phone and there'll be like picture galleries where like your phone will make tiny little videos of like pictures.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, oh, your furry
Yeah.
friend or this date.
Yeah. March in review.
Yeah, it's like May 29th because you went somewhere and took a bunch of
Yeah.
pictures or
yeah. All the time.
And can you imagine if you're the type of person that took a lot of dick pics of yourself on your phone, and one day your phone's just like, hey, here's a May collage of all the dick pics you took, and it's just like fade ins and out of your own penis with like a
Wow.
cool jazz. You're like, ba ba da 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 ba ba da da. You know, like
It was a cold spring.
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I love that.
because that's a thing somewhere to someone.
100% is.
Your phone don't know the difference. Your phone's not like, whoa, wait, hold on.
It would have to be Richard Cheese for the soundtrack.
Really?
It would
Lounge
have to
music
be.
with
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
Oh my
Oh man.
gosh.
Doing Tool.
Ah,
Dick pics.
this is
God.
my dick.
Oh.
Film it a lot.
Ooh, look at this one. This must have been summer I shaved.
Yeah.
Oh, gal. All
Yeah.
right. Moving on.
Anyways.
Anyways. Well, it's good to see you.
Yes. It's,
And Joe. I love having Joe on the show.
yeah, we always like to have Joe
Yeah.
sitting in with us.
Joe is good stuff.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Always brings good insight. And that super smooth voice, which I don't have.
I was telling him before you got here that there's a gutter, like, guy that does gutters. I don't know what you call, like, what the official term is for a guy that does gutters.
Gutter guy.
Gutter guy. There's a gutter guy. And he had his big gutter guy truck outside.
That's the guy that does our gutters.
And yeah, as a gutter guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had the back end of his truck open and the radio going. And there was like a Joe Malone narrated commercial
Ooh.
for something.
Nice.
And it was just echoing through my entire neighborhood at 9 a.m. when I'm like walking to my car to go to work. It's just Joe telling me to go to something or buy something.
Man, he's a household name, this guy.
And I know. And I'm just like, I know him.
Yeah. He's echoing through my
I
neighborhood.
know him.
What's Joe doing on the North End? No, you
I feel
are
like
North End.
I feel like Will Ferrell in Elf. It's like I know him.
He's real.
I know him.
Go up and be like, hey, I know you're busy. I know that guy.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
See him over there. So good to have you, Joe.
It's so good. It's good to
We
be here.
we hung out last week outside of the studio a little bit.
No, we did.
I found out that being busy with comedy means that like your friends just think you're out of town all the time, so they don't ask you to do nothing. Like I got down to Central Park. They do this thing in town here, like in the summer on Fridays, where they have like bands and food trucks.
Were you there?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Were you there?
Yeah.
I was there.
I saw you.
I
Did
did.
you
not.
see-
We saw each other.
Did we say hi?
We did say hi.
Okay.
What year is it?
Good God.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
We-
I did
no,
not.
Did I say hi to you?
We
No, I
we
did
gave
not
each other
see
a
you.
quick wave. It was from a distance.
I
Oh,
saw-
so I didn't physically speak to you.
No, we didn't talk.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
That,
oh,
doesn't count.
Wow. Did we just
Joe's
break up?
brain doesn't work like that. Those encounters get wiped away instantly.
Well, you said we talked to each other.
It
way
took
of-
me a second. I
we
forgot we
communicated.
did communicate.
Yeah.
Without words. It
Okay,
was,
sorry.
it was a look. It was
No,
a
that's
hand
fine.
gesture.
But I was just say like I ran into Tiff and her husband Kyle, and they're both like, "Oh, we thought about getting a hold of you guys to come down here, but we figured you'd be gone." Then I ran into a couple other buddies, and they're like, "Yeah, we just assumed you were on your way to like Nebraska or something." And like I started to realize, like usually as a comedian, you send they call it sending your avails. You send the dates you're available to a club in hopes that they'll book you on one of those dates. I realize I'm gonna have to start sending my avails to my friends because like
open.
it's like, hey, I'm open on these Fridays if you want to see me or spend time with me. And I bet I'd get the same amount of calls. I don't know.
make a Facebook event. Justin's bored.
Yeah, if you guys,
That's a
I'm
Saturday
great idea.
night.
I'm planning to be
actually.
bored
That's
on
a good
Friday
idea.
if anybody
Yeah.
was interested in fixing.
Or
that.
like maybe you reach out and see what your friends are doing.
oh,
Oh.
well, careful what
It's a
you
weird
wish for.
Hey, I'm not working this weekend. What do you do?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just
are you
gonna
going
always
camping?
I am going camping this
I
weekend.
saw you like soliciting camping gear on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yes. So I decided because there is such strife between me and my 14-year-old that I would do it the old-fashioned way and take her to the middle of the woods
Dude, are you guys gonna go on a vision
and
quest?
live off the grid,
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
which also is known as the Old Barn Resort in Lanesboro. So it's like not a big deal. So
Do they have 4G there?
I don't think so. Every time I've gone there, I don't have any service.
Perfect.
Which
That's
is
going
which
to
is
be a
great.
nightmare
Yeah.
for her.
If she, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I think the first night will be a bit of a nightmare. Maybe she'll probably have a little bit of the shakes and some withdrawal vomiting. But by mid-afternoon, I feel like she's gonna really sink into it.
Well, what you do, just screenshot some Instagram stuff or whatever platform she's on.
Mm-hmm.
And the more she opens up and converses with you, you can just show her screenshots of TikTok.
Oh,
Be like, hey, if we can have another 10-minute conversation about your life, you can watch this dog do dumb
oh my
stuff.
gosh!
Or you know what
Why
I'd-
are you not my therapist?
You know what I'd be
Joe?
willing to do for you, Tiff?
What?
Is like if she's missing the internet, like any aspect of it, like anything, just like FaceTime me, and I'll just be sitting in front of like a neutrally colored wall, and I'll just be like, "Hey, Claire, in Mason City news, it's 86 degrees." And then she'll get bored with that. And she's like, "What about TikTok?" And you'll call me again. And I'll just be like, I'll do a couple like TikTok dances.
Oh, that's
And then
good.
like she'll just realize that if the only internet she gets is just me imitating the internet, she'll get sick of it really fast.
That's a great idea.
Now, the
too.
question is, do you have that song, though? The Oh No song.
I'll get.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love that. The
I
TikTok
don't even
one.
know what it is yet. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no.
Yes, I love it. I love
I've
it.
realized one thing about TikTok, and that I absolutely hate it. But
Do ya?
I think I do, but sometimes I find myself
It is a
swiping by
you
and by
get
and
sucked
by.
in, man. So
Do you have a checklist of what you want to do while you're camping then?
yeah,
Or like accomplish? Or
yeah. So we have some other friends that will be up in the campgrounds too, and so first of all, let me preface: we had a tent. We had a teepee. It was really cool. It got ruined in a storm, and now we have no tent. So I thought, I have the Jeep all taken apart. I'm like, it's perfect. We'll just pull up some sleep mats in the back. Her and I will fit perfectly in there. I'll put a mosquito net over the cage, and we'll sleep under the stars. Like,
You know, it's going to be 100 degrees this weekend.
I'd rather be in the open air than inside of a tent.
True.
Yes.
You
As
got
long-
air in your Jeep?
Yeah, but it's open. Like the
Yeah,
door.
it still helps.
It does help. I have my air on when I drive sometimes. So my big thing, I think my checklist is like just to get some hardcore snuggles. And I will force them if I have to because we're in the wilderness and nobody can hear your screams. We're gonna tube. We're gonna bike. Lanesboro has like hundreds of miles of trails, and you can bike to pie. You bike to get pie.
Mm-hmm.
You go back, you take a nap. Like, yes. I mean, Lance Armstrong was riding bike just because. Where was the pie, Lance? Where was the pie? I mean, you got to ask yourself, what was that guy doing?
It makes you wonder.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, she seemed like she was on board when I told her a couple weeks ago. I was like, hey, your dad.
Just girls.
Just girls.
Okay.
Yep. Kyle's going to some sports thing or something. Oh, no. He's going to see a show, concert, something like that. And I was like, well, me and you will just do this, outdoorsy. I'm an outdoorsy gal. She's tolerant of it. And, I'd like to teach her how to like build a fire and, make camping food and use gear and all that stuff. And then after the last couple days of just absolute hellfire towards each other, I was like, I don't even want you to go. I don't even want you to go. I'm going to go by myself. I can't even stand the thought of us being together in the wilderness. And like, I didn't say that part, but I wanted to, but I did say, I'm not taking you. Come on. Like that was going to be some kind of a threat to her. She was like, cool.
You don't get to spend the weekend in the woods with me now.
That's right. You don't even get a tick check. So,
No deet for you.
Aren't you going to want a tent for the tick check? Because like if all you've got is a mosquito net, that's going to be
there's
a
bathroom.
very.
There's a bathroom.
Oh,
facility.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But good looking out.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah. All right, strip down. It's part of this.
be like changing into your swimsuit at Valley Fair.
Oh God, right?
Let's go out to the parking lot. You hold the towel, but turn your back.
So bad. Changing into a swimsuit at an amusement park parking lot that's a personal hell. That's a personal hell. Boys are so lucky. You guys can, it's just like that's my sound.
Just like that.
It's just like that.
If you ever hear that, if you're ever in a parking lot, it's like you look around.
That
'cause
guy's putting his swim
someone you
trunks
just
on.
looked at is probably wearing different clothes.
Stop. It's a magic trick. That's what magic sounds like to me. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well,
if
I
it
hope
works
that it
out.
goes well.
Yeah, I would have asked you if you wanted to go, but I figured you'd be in Nebraska.
I wish I was only going that far this weekend.
Where are you going?
Rhinelander, Wisconsin, pretty much the upper peninsula of Michigan,
Oh,
like 5.5 hours away.
are you coming back? Or are you staying up there?
Yeah, we're coming back because
Why?
Crazy Jake works at 6 in the morning the next day.
Jake.
My partner that I do comedy with is a certified nurse's aide, and he takes no consideration for his health into his scheduling. And he'll work from 6 a.m. till probably about 2 on Saturday. We'll get in the car, we'll drive to Wisconsin, do the show, drive back, get back about an hour before he has to be back there.
And he survives on.
Somehow he's aging like a president. He's like, if you look at pictures, Facebook memories that come up from like last year, and it looks like,
He needs to slow down in the Dr. Pepper.
oh yeah, this life
Yeah.
in general. He's living in the fast lane like he's in the Eagles, and he's not. He's not in the Eagles. But
God,
yeah, we
Jake.
have, and then we're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Sunday night. So
Oh my
yeah,
goodness!
So
Wow,
I'm free Friday.
sweet. You guys hear that? Justin's free.
Wasn't
It's
really.
free.
That's really not why I said that.
It's
please,
free.
please don't contact me.
Call.
Not like it'll matter because this doesn't air till Sunday. It'll be all-
Perfect. You'll
Oh
be
my
on
Oh,
your way
I
back.
could have got a hold of Justin.
Shoot.
Dang.
That's what they'll use as an excuse. Hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Speaking of Friday Night Live, down here at the park last week, I had the best Philly sandwich I have ever had in my life from that Philly. There was a Philly cheesesteak truck down there.
Was that the Brazilian truck or was that a different truck? Was that the bus?
It
No.
was just a regular
So-
food truck.
Okay.
They do
I
some
got
out
a
of Trail
sandwich
City.
from the Brazilian bus
Was that good?
truck. It was very good. I have a very wild story about it that I don't think I'll share in air because,
Okay.
but remind me.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I was going to do that, and then I ended up doing the what's the place in the mall? The only place in the mall.
Mr. Taco?
No, it's not in the mall anymore.
Oh, no. He was so upset. No, that's the Happy Donkey now.
How dare you?
No, not Thai Bistro. What's the other
What
one?
even? Oh, there's a little Thai place in the mall. Yeah,
the other Thai
There's
place.
a Thai place in the mall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where the Chinese place used to be in the
Oh,
mall.
okay.
Yeah, it's
We're
good.
doing it
Is it
again. You
good?
guys are talking like no one, like we're from like Mason City's the world again. Like our show's not on the internet. You know, the mall, the little chai place. You know, where the old place used to be, right next down on 3rd Street. If you go down around the brick building, it's,
Yeah, you know, over by the Hungry
Sorry,
Mind.
guys.
adjacent
Nelson's
from-
used to be there back in
we get
1963.
absorbed into our own world.
Gosh. What?
I said we get absorbed into our own world here
We
on
do.
this show, but
We really do. Yeah. Anyways, best Philly cheesesteak I've ever had.
that's awesome.
You know, because the ratio, the bread's got to be right. You know, it's got to be that chewy bread that kind of like you have to work at it a little bit, but like it absorbs like the juice of the meat and it gets all soggy and it's a terrible. I swear to God, Kyle and I were sitting on the ground eating our sandwiches, and Kyle, my husband, does not. He's a germaphobe. He does not like to get dirty. He doesn't like to be messy or his hands to be messy or
And you're
anything
the
like
opposite.
that. And I'm the opposite. I'm just like, all me. I've always thought the most perfect first date would be go to a restaurant, order food for each other, and then make a rule that you can't use any silverware. Let's just get it out of the way.
Just get messy.
Let's just get messy, get it out of the way, like really get to know each other. So anyways, we're down at
I'd order somebody's soup.
that's always where my mind goes. Thank you, Joe. You sicko.
Deal with it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just a little cupping the hand. Oh man. That's some skill. You're gonna want to keep a girl like that in your life. You know, you really are.
Hands free
A
soup
good
eating.
slurper. You always want a good slurper.
Yes. Innovation is what I meant, but that's cool.
Soup slurper.
Yeah, I knew what you
Yeah.
were saying.
Slurp innovation is important.
It's right. Hey, whoa,
Yeah,
it's true.
I don't know what that means, but
But what I was getting at with the sandwich was, it was super messy. We're sitting on the ground, which Kyle also hates. And I was just kept trying to like coach him, like, just relax. It's going to be fine. This is fun. I'm having a great time with you. Like it was actually the most fun I had with him in a long time, like maybe years. And we laughed and whatever. But like in front of me is like all the spilled meat kind of like remnants. It totally looks like I just shit on the sidewalk. In front of Kyle is all the juice. So right in front of his crotch. So it just looks like we both just used the toilet on the sidewalk. And then
that
my
kind of
mother-in-law
party.
snapped a picture of us.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Mom.
yeah.
Oh, look at our roadside toilet.
Here's how it went for me. I walked up. Tiff was already in the line to get food. She's like, "You guys gonna get food?" I'm like, "Yep." And she's like, "Cool. Find me right after you get food. We'll hang out." So we got food. I tried to call Tiff. She didn't answer. I FaceTime her. She's like, "Come over here. I'm not leaving." So we walked over there and she went, "We're leaving."
Oh, you
And that
made
was-
it. Oh my gosh.
You didn't even remember that happening? And you were giving
No.
Joe crap for.
No.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm right over here. We're not leaving. We're sitting over here." And I walk over and she's folding her blanket up. She's like, "We're leaving." It's like, okay, well. good.
No,
You can have our spot.
Liz was leaving. That was her blanket.
And then later when I was like, it was like a passive aggressive, I said, "Fun hang, LOL." And she
that was
like,
passive
and then she
aggressive.
sent back like, "Yeah, totally. I love hanging out with you guys." It's like, she's just not.
I'm not.
It was 32 seconds.
I am so. I just. My brain is not. I'm not even gonna apologize to you because I'm not sorry. No, I'm sorry, Justin. But we hung out later.
Yeah, you invited us to your house.
He
so
came
it's
over.
okay.
We did a porch hang. Quit acting like I'm some
Fine.
villainous.
Well, you know.
What a punk. I just wanted to go and sit on my porch. It was really hard for me to get up there even.
Yeah.
Could you tell did I look panicked or
No,
like,
you were doing fine.
okay. I felt I was internally burning up.
You were all right.
I was burning alive.
In the
But
porch?
no,
What?
just going into like public.
Oh.
I've been dealing with a lot of social anxiety,
Oh.
which I've never had before. I'm a social person. I love people. I love to socialize and be out amongst people, and I cannot do it right now. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it specifically why. But I've been digging into it a little bit, trying to think about what it is that maybe is causing some of that stuff. You know, Mike Ewing that we had on the show, him and I talk frequently, and he was kind of asking me, like picking my brain about some stuff. Like, do you think that it's because people expect you to act a certain way, or they expect something from you, or, how does it all kind of work? So it just got me thinking about some stuff. And I think one of the big things for me is that I'm afraid, oh God, this is just some crazy transparency right now, but I'm afraid that if I go out in public, people will think that I'm okay, and then they can put their shit on me again. And that's kind of what I was hoping that we could talk about tonight, was just like what our boundaries like now. And I never had them before. I'm a yes man, and you teach people how to treat you, and I've taught people through my tenure here in Mason City that I am a trusted ally, an ear, a shoulder, a car ride, financial stuff. You got something to say, I'm here for it. And it is so taxing. And I think I didn't really realize how much it really affected me until I just absolutely lost the capacity to endure it. But the healthier I'm looking on paper to other people, the more people are starting to do it to me again. And it's as simple as like, there's a person who I've known for some years, and they called me and they were having a panic attack. They were driving down a couple hours away for the weekend, and they were having a panic attack, and but their partner was in the car with them. And so they're choosing to call me instead of rely on the people that are right there in front of them. And that's a lot for me. And I think I used to really appreciate that people would do that, and that they want, and it made me feel needed and observed and appreciated and things like that. And it isn't any of that, I don't think. And so I'm really trying to learn how to put those boundaries in place, and kind of what that looks like.
Temporarily or permanently?
Permanently.
Well, that's easier than temporarily.
Yeah, permanently.
Because if you can permanently do it and just be like, hey, you got to give me another, God knows how long, but eventually I'll be that sounding board for you. If you just say, no, my cup is full, and I'm sorry, we can be friends, we can talk, we can have conversations.
I think there are people that I absolutely need to do that with. There are people that I would like to come back to and say, and that's where I think I'm struggling right now, is that I don't know how. I feel like I am a very direct person, and I almost to a degree where it makes people uncomfortable, but I don't know how not to be. And sometimes when you're direct, people get defensive. And so like if you were to call me, Joe, and say like, something's going on or whatever.
How do you deal with this 6-year-old girl problem?
Right.
Yeah. Or whatever. Yeah.
If I didn't have the capacity at that point, I feel like I could say, hey, I kind of got my own stuff going on right now. I can't really help you in this moment. And I think you'd be okay with it. But there have been people who have only ever put on me, ever. Like, and if I were to say no to them and say, listen, our relationship has always been one that is you take and I give. It's by no fault of yours or mine. It's just what this relationship is. It has never been really reciprocal. Even in their mind, I think they think it is in a way. But I just do not have the capacity to hold the weight of that. And it can never really be anything different, I don't think, because our relationship started based on those foundations. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have always put your weight on me, and I've always helped you carry it or whatever. And some of those people I think now or have come to me and said, if you ever want to talk or cry together or do blah, blah, blah together, I'm here for that. I don't want to give that to you because our relationship has never been that way. And I can't just start now, I don't know how to do that. And I don't think those people will ever be safe enough to be able to do that.
Do you have your people you can vent to?
You're looking at them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, my super, super close group. There's probably maybe 3 people that I can really just show it all and know that it's, I have a hard time giving it because I don't want to be that guy that's just like always pushing my stuff. So I've always really coveted my own stuff and held on to it and stuff. But there are really mutually beneficial and reciprocal relationships that I have that I can do that with. And
So you're not just stuck
No,
being the
I'm not
glue
stuck.
where everybody's like,
No.
oh, pile it on Tiff,
No,
and you
no.
got nothing.
I think there has been times where I have taken on so much of other people's stuff that I felt like I couldn't, even to my sounding board people, give any of my stuff away. Like it was almost too exhausting to do that. And yeah, so I kind of think of it, and I was telling Justin this earlier, my friend Amber, who is a therapist, we were talking last night, and she's one of those people for me. And we were talking about thinking of your life as a sporting event. So like your life is the stadium, and there's only so many people that have tickets to the skybox because there's only so much room in the skybox. So the people who have the tickets to the skybox, and if you're listening to the show and you hear some sort of elitist comment in that, like, check your heart and check your ego, because that's not what it is. The skybox people are just the people who are reciprocal, and it's a mutual thing, you know. And then you have the what's after that?
Seating.
Yeah, not general. Isn't there something other than general admission?
Box seats.
But okay,
Yeah.
so then you have like people are a little closer, but you don't really know. They're not in the close. You know, they're not inside the box. You know, what I
Not
mean?
quite acquaintances,
Yeah,
but
right.
not best
Yeah, yeah,
friends.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like you've been through some shit, you know, and you've shared some stuff together and whatever, and then you have general admission, and then you have the scalpers.
Standing room only. Yeah.
Yeah. You have the people on the outside of the stadium that are just, they want to take from you, but they make it look like it's beneficial to you. And that is a lot of what I think I've been recognizing in my life. And that doesn't mean that they're bad people. They just don't know that they're doing. I didn't know that they were doing it. It is only until like this great big thing that happened that I was just like, holy shit, what am I doing? I cannot do this, you know? And I don't feel safe enough to be able to tell people the truth. You know, like I can't do this right now. You know, my box seats, I can definitely say, I'm sorry, I just can't today, because they trust me and they know I'll be back, you know? So it's like, I don't want to turn the switch off all the way, but
for the general population.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't need that, you know? I mean,
Are you comfortable with that?
that's the rub, is that I'm not comfortable with it, and I'm not sure why.
Because one thing I've been going through a lot is I've got a ton going on in my life, just busy all the time doing stuff and saying no, which is what you're talking about doing, saying no to people, like not meanly, but just
Yeah, no is a complete sentence.
no.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. First person you need to say no to is yourself.
Okay.
You need to get used to telling yourself no, like, no, I'm not going to do that because that's not beneficial to me right now. Or there are other things that are more important. So I'm going to tell myself no. Don't even pursue that endeavor. And then once you start cutting that stuff out, if you can tell yourself no, you can tell anybody no.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. My friend Amber even kind of said something along those lines, as when somebody she says, because she's gone through a bunch of health stuff and they have a bunch of tragedies with COVID, and it's been a rough year for them too. But she said, when somebody asks me something from now, you know, as of recent, like to do something, or they need something from me, I just say, can I think on that? Because my response is always just like, yes. I don't even think about it. I'm just like, yes, because it fills some fucked up need that I have.
Well, you're
like,
not the bad guy then.
yes, I'm not the bad guy. And so she says, I intentionally take a pause and then say, I'll get back to you and let you know for sure. And I think that I can start with that, and really take it from there. I think that could work. But there's just, I don't know why it just feels like such guilt to like not be available to people.
Because you want to be a helper.
Yeah.
You want to give and give and give and give
Yes.
and give and
Yeah.
give, because in the end, giving feels good,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
at what cost?
Yeah. And instead of just saying no, I'm avoiding now. I have totally avoidant behavior. I'm ghosting people. That is not who I am, but it's because I don't even know how to say no and be okay with it. Like I don't know how to just be okay with putting myself first. That sounds really sanctimonious, but so I just ghost them. And I don't know about you, but I fucking hate being ghosted and I hate being ignored and I don't want to be that guy. So, yeah. So tell me I'm not alone in this. Tell me
No, not at all.
I'm not the only one that does this.
I've been trying lately to, because I like to think that, well, you kind of said I am one of those box seat people for you,
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciate. But we've had that conversation
Mhm.
before. I've been trying to not dump on you for that reason, which is, I know she's giving me a look right now, like,
It's
because
just what we've always done, though.
it is, but I know that if I really needed to lay something on
Yeah.
you, I would.
For sure.
Because I've had, you know what I mean? Like, I'm having days too, but it's like,
Mhm.
I can see it in you that you're just hanging on to the shit you have to hang on to right
Yeah.
now. And there's not a lot of, and I think that's what makes our friendship work, is that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, outside of that, like, my stadium is very small.
Mhm.
There's probably maybe one box and there's only a couple seats in there, and
That's awesome.
it's, for me, like, I've especially coming out of COVID, me and Jake have kind of come into this role of, I feel like we've hit a new level as far as comedy goes. And because we push so hard to create opportunities for ourselves, and it's just how we've been since day one, it's like, no one's going to do this for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And because we've done that, and for 5 years, it's starting to work, in creating those opportunities for ourselves, it in turn creates opportunities for other people, which I love to do. I love to be able to, like, I've said it 100 times, I wish I had a me when I started out, because I'm that guy. I want to help everybody. I want everybody to do well. I want everybody to experience what I'm experiencing. I want them all to, when someone does comedy for the first time and they get laughs, you see that, like, excitement in them. It's like, I remember that, and I want to do everything I can to help them. And a lot of the people that are doing it don't have that same drive I have, or have that same love for it. And sometimes it's a flash of, yeah, this is fun for a minute, and I throw myself into, like, I'm an open book. Ask me any questions you want. We'll put you on these shows. Well, it's like, it's time, you know what I mean? Like, jump on the bus. We're going to Comedy Town. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me to remember sometimes that the way I feel about things aren't necessarily the same way that other people feel about things. And the drive and the passion that I have for it isn't necessarily shared by everyone, even the people that do it. And a lot of these people have come to just expect that from us. Like, these guys are going to do everything for us and lay it out on the table for us, and that's just how it's going to be.
They're going to promote. They're going to book. And we can waltz
we get
in.
to play comedian
Right.
on the back of all of their work, which 9 times out of 10 doesn't bother me, because like you said, I want to be helpful, and I want to,
Mm-hmm.
even if it bugs me, even if at home I'm bitching about it, I still want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And there's certain situations that I found myself in where I just can't be for certain people. And they just put me in positions that just make me uncomfortable, or make my job so much harder. And then the opposite coin of that is they're not really holding up their end of it, by doing the very few things that we expect out of the people we work with. But then I have that guilt of, like, well, I'm not helping this person now. You know what I mean? I'm being a jerk for no reason. And it's just like, because I forget about all the other stuff that they did that put me in that position to even be thinking that way. Because I'm still I wouldn't say I'm a selfless person by any stretch. I can be a very selfish person in ways, but I think I have a good heart and I want to help people. But it's tough because you got to help you first sometimes. And if that means not inconveniencing yourself means maybe inconveniencing someone else, then I think that's okay. And I think that's where you're kind of struggling too, is
because when you say it like that and you say it out loud, it is until you're confronted with it. Until it's like right in front of you, like it's, and it can be this like the most piddliest thing, you know. It's like I paint because it's therapeutic for me. I share my art with people because that's kind of cool that people like it. But all of a sudden now there's an expectation of me. Can you do this for me? Can you make this for me?
Can I have it by Saturday?
then it becomes a job.
Right. Yes. Right. And then it becomes a job. And then even if there's no time constraint or anything like that, it's, I don't know. And I feel like I can't say no, you know, or like I've had people who have asked if they can come paint with me. Can I come over and paint with you? I see that it does a lot for you, which I don't know what you're seeing or where you get that from.
Happy trees.
Gosh.
See, I know you
need to
well,
be
so I
sadder in my heart.
I know better. I know when you're painting, especially late at night, things aren't going so
No,
good.
it's not good. It is not good. If I am, nope, it's not good. I haven't slept. I've had 6 hours of sleep in 3 days.
Like when you told me the
Not
other
good.
day, you're like, you texted me and told me you weren't sleeping. And then I saw you post a video of yourself painting. I'm like, oh, fuck, she's painting too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. And so like people want, what they see is like, you know, this cool thing that's happening out of this tragedy, you know, this beauty being created or whatever. And they want to share that with me. And they think it's going to be this beautiful thing where we're going to sit together and we're going to cry and we'll paint and we'll create and all that stuff. That is not what this is. That's not what this is.
You want to know what I think? And maybe you've never thought about it this way because it's you and you're yourself. But I think the way that you're so transparent with a lot of your feelings online, and I know for you in a way, it's not for anybody else. It's just your way of getting it out sometimes.
It is.
I think there's a lot of people that's very fucking scary of a notion for 9 out of 10 people. And I think it comes off very like, holy shit, this chick's brave. Holy shit, like she's just articulating like to whoever wants to see it or hear it, like her ugliest moments. And I think a lot of these people that are going through their own shit that wouldn't have the sack to do that think that like by maybe being around you or putting themselves in that situation that they're going to be able to, or they're going to be able to find that thing that you have that, but they don't realize it's not like I need to do this to help the world. It's just your way of getting it out.
And it's like, I don't want that job.
Right.
I don't want that. Like,
but I would imagine maybe some people see that in you and they're just like, I'm having a shitty time. I want to be able to be, but that's the other thing. It goes right back to it is they don't get that that's not where you're at. And then that's just compounding exactly what you're talking about because you're barely getting by on your own, let alone helping out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've stopped trying to be relational or relatable to people in their grief or in their struggle period, because this whole thing has just been so eye-opening. And but people still want to do that to me, you know, and I understand why. That I did it for a lot of years, you know. Like I have this one person who will message me all the time about their depression. And do you ever feel like, do you ever like just lose the taste for your favorite foods? Like there's something you used to really love to eat, now you don't love to eat. Like small things like that. Or like, oh, depression is so hard, you know, and send me like documents that they want me to view about their deep sadness and they want me to read it and stuff like that. And it's like, I finally just had to be like, I don't have clinical depression. We do not have the same thing. That was actually one of my very first steps, I think, this last couple weeks, to say it's not the same. Not to sound like a dick, but it's not the same.
And also, bro, the game's on. I'm kind of busy.
Right. And I just think it's really, I don't know. I think for so long I did that and be like, oh yeah, thanks for, and I would read it and I would be like, beautifully articulated. I'm so glad you can put your feelings on paper and stuff like that. I don't think I ever really liked doing that.
Justifying their sadness.
Yeah. I don't think I ever really liked having to carry that stuff. I just kind of did it. And, but oh God, this just is going to sound terrible, but it is what it is. It's not the same. It is not the same. What I have is not what you have. Why do we have to like compare swords here? And like, why can't we just be human beings and be like, hey, do you need anything today? Or how about this? Do you have the capacity today? I wrote this thing. It was really hard for me to write. Do you think maybe you could read it sometime? Instead of just sending me that, or even like songs, like depressing songs and stuff. Oh,
Have you ever heard The Cure?
Yeah. And it's like this kind of stuff is really what gets me through. It's kind of dark and stuff. That is not me. Like, and that's the thing too, Justin, like a lot of the reason why I have kind of put my stuff out there for people to see is for two reasons. It's super cathartic for me. It's kind of like a journal sort of. And I want people to know I'm okay. So I don't have to check in all the time because I don't really have the energy. Like if I'm telling bad dad jokes on my morning walks, she's okay today, or whatever. But also like, if you really know me, you can kind of see it for what it is, like late night painting frantically, like she might be spiraling out of control.
Oh, it's a bird on glass too. Oh
yeah.
God.
It's a bird on glass. Oh God. I think that's a bad one. But then those are the things that I'm asking for the responses sometimes from people that's like, that was such a cool thing that you did. Maybe we could do that together sometime. So I know I'm asking for that. The internal struggle I have right now is just saying, that's kind of just for me. I feel so selfish in just saying like, I don't want to, or no, or.
What's the worst that's going to happen if you tell somebody no?
Right. Yeah.
You could always, and again, this is for you, not for them, because you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah.
But you could always, if someone comes to you like that too, be like, oh, it seems like you're getting, I'd like to do that, to be like, you should try it.
Yeah.
Be like, it's a fun thing to do by yourself. You should try it. It might help you.
I'll send you my Amazon list.
And then
You can buy all
and
this
then
stuff.
send me one, and we'll send each other pictures of what we painted.
Yeah.
And we'll,
Gosh, see? Seems so, yeah.
What
like
if they
these
paint
are-
a picture of a? Never mind. Okay.
He's
Full circle.
illustrating in the air. We're going to skip over that. Yeah.
Justin's like, what kind of brush do you have?
So strange. Who invited this guy?
You did.
Okay. So with your comedy stuff, you kind of said, you kind of want to be helpful and stuff. Are you finding yourself being more assertive? Well, first of all, let me back up. Do you find yourself being more worn out by those people and that neediness because of where you're at emotionally?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's connected in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
I would never rail on anybody specifically, because we're all people, but it's an interesting dynamic for me to work in bars with the opinion I have about alcohol. And I'm not super vocal, but you have to know me to really know how I truly feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't drink. I think more and more people are becoming aware of that, because I was in my 20s. I was a barfly. That I liked being social. I've always liked being social. So that's what I did. I didn't have a girlfriend. I lived in my grandma's basement. I was a part-time musician that hung out at the bar all the time. And So that part's weird. You know, the whole like, what do you mean you don't drink, or what do you mean you don't want a shot? But I very much put alcohol as the blanket covering all of the other things that contributed to my mom not being here anymore. That's kind of the face I give it, which is weird for me because I can be around it, and I can be around people drinking, and I can be around alcohol, and my wife will have a drink from time to time, and it doesn't bother me at all. And I can go to the bar with people and be social, and I'm not like, but being around drunk is very difficult for me because it just brings back those memories of like that version of my mom that it was not a fun time. And so it's like I've got very like negative feelings about that and no patience for it whatsoever. And there are comics that like to, get after it with the booze, and that's fine until it puts me in a position where I have to be, you know what I mean? Like if I'm your ride and like it's time to go and you're wasted and you're breathing your drunk breath in my face and you're causing problems, like I don't have to deal with that. And that's where I'm having that hard time just, making that separation of like you said, you felt like it sounded selfish. It's like, no, like I don't have, like if you, and I think it also ties into the fact that I don't think a lot of those people realize, I know they don't realize how much work it takes to even just one show. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the show we did last March with 150 people, the months of work it took to get even to that day. And then that day, find out we don't have chairs for the room. We got 150 people coming in, and I'm calling you. And you know what I mean? I'm just scrambling to try to find chairs for these people to sit in. And these are, and something like that happens every time we do anything. And a lot of them are just getting that. I show up a half hour before to a full room. I get to get on stage, soak in all the adulation, have everybody tell me how great I was. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking about, well, we got to do this again tomorrow in a different town. And it's a ton of work that I'm absolutely willing to do because I love it more than like anything. But I have to find a way to be able to be like, it's okay for me to want to be okay. You know what I mean? Like and if there's things, you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel almost like I'm doing them a favor, kind of. Not only am I helping myself by being able to set boundaries better, but I think people doing what I'm doing should have to figure out, pay dues in a way. I mean, find out how bad do you really want this? Like if somebody makes it that easy for you all the time, of course it's going to be, if it's always amazing, of course it's going to be fun to do. But what happens when it's not so amazing? You still love it? You know what I mean? I think that's a lesson that everybody needs to learn in anything that they are putting their passion into. If you can still love it when it's not so awesome, then you might be onto something.
Well, I think setting boundaries is important, and more importantly, telling people what those boundaries are.
Sure.
So, I mean, if you're dealing with somebody,
I've always been,
and you've got to help greet people at the door. Walking in a half hour early and get to work. You need to make sure everybody knows it's a comedy show tonight, or whatever it is for opener.
And I'm also that guy who, like, when people don't do what you know what I mean, they don't meet expectations, they know they're not going to get too much gruff out of me. I've always been, it's funny because as long as I can remember, I don't necessarily care what people think of me, but in the other end, I always want to be liked. I want everyone to like me. And it's like, I'm not hyper aware of like,
true that.
My wife is very hyper aware of like, these fucking people are staring at us, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm oblivious to what the world thinks of me. But at the same time, I want so desperately for everyone to think I'm the cool kid. Whether I say that out loud or not. You know what I mean?
Basically,
like,
you don't care if people hate you, but you do care if they like you.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Like Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to live. I have to care if people like me because
Right.
it makes me money. Kind of like
Yeah.
you have to care that people think you're funny
Right.
because it makes you money.
Mhm.
And if people hate me, I'm okay with that too. I'm not going to let that bother me because I know there's other people that like me.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's
So-
been another thing that's been very strange for me. And even and it falls into, setting boundaries too, where I'm supposed to be the funny guy. I'm supposed to be the good time guy. I'm expecting to be paid to be the funny guy as a profession. No one wants to be around the, hey, that guy's mom died guy. You know what I mean? No one wants to be around that. It's been a year and you still don't have your shit together guy. Like,
Mm.
and you feel almost a little guilt about like, no, I gotta fucking suck it up. I mean, 'cause nobody wants that, Justin.
Mm.
But I'm that
that's-
Justin a lot.
That's
these days.
that is the struggle I have with the social anxiety thing, is because that's exactly it. You just nail on the head right there. Is that I'm so terrified to let other people down because I'm just not the lovable, soft-hearted, make everyone laugh, like girl anymore. I'm sad and I'm heavy and I'm abrasive at times and silly and erratic and I'm afraid that like I'm letting them down in some way if I don't put that face on, and I cannot do it.
Did you have to put the face on Friday night?
No.
So you went Friday. Forgive me if I'm getting off topic
No,
here,
no,
but
no.
Friday night you didn't want to go out. You were feeling severe anxiety.
Yeah.
A lot of people everywhere. You know a lot of
Yep.
people. A lot of people know you. How did the feeling go away?
So
How long did
actually,
it take?
as Justin was just saying that, that's what I was thinking about was Friday. And as we were walking up, because we live within walking distance, I was struggling that internal thing, like it's gonna be fine. It's
Doing
gonna be
the-
fine. Yes, yes, yes. Which is just crazy to me because I've never. And for those of you that listen to the show and you struggle with anxiety to a real degree, like my heart is just with you because it is a real bitch, and holy cow, I can see how it can totally dictate your entire life. I clung to Kyle like a kid to their mother's side because he's safe to me. I just, when I was feeling anxiety, I would just say, I just need you to look at me. Just talk to me. We've really had to grow in our friendship, which I wouldn't say we necessarily really had one before, even though we've been together for 20 years, is that I really need to be able to lean on you and just allow everything else outside fall away, because I know you see who I am. I know you've seen who I have been in the past, but you know who I am now, and I feel safe to be able to show that to you. And as soon as I just surrendered and that nothing else really mattered, I had the best time with him, just the absolute best time. And I knew that I was aware that there were people around me. I saw a lot of faces that I knew or whatever, and I felt nothing about it. I didn't care if they saw me. I didn't care if we talked or whatever. I just felt happy to just be in that space with this safe person,
Did you enjoy it?
I had the best time that I've had in years.
I mean, beyond being in your bubble,
Yeah,
did you enjoy the
I did.
greater?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, it was great.
I think for me, it's funny because it's like the same event, like we ended up seeing each other, but it wasn't planned. And like, for me, it's like, I already have like a lot of feelings of like, no one really wants, like, I have weird moments of no one wants to, no one wants to be around me with, you know what I mean? Like, and then like at the same time when I am out in public, because I'm somewhat of a public figure doing what I'm doing, and I want to maintain that, like, there's Justin, he's fun, that guy, I love that guy, he's a good timer, that guy's funny, because if people knew how not all right I am,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so for me, it was like, I mean, obviously, like I feel the same kind of thing, you know, like when I'm with Alyssa, like I'm such a pro wrestling dork, but I always tell her it's like we're tag team champions. You know what I mean? It's like that's what it's all about. It's us against whoever comes along. You know what I mean? It's always me and you. And
You're the hawk to my animal.
exactly. And even just recently, you know, she's like, sometimes we'll end up with the same color shirt on. She'll be like, this is bad. Should we not go out like this? Like all the best tag teams have matching ring gear, dude. I'm like, but for me, it was, that's sometimes more than I'm up for. As much as I love being social, and like I've said, like distracting myself from my sadness is the best thing I can do for myself. It's the only thing I've figured out so far. And as much as I want to be that dude, like sometimes like I knew going down there, like it was going to be all like, hey, yeah, good to see you. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, yeah, things, you've been busy. Yeah, things have been great.
Right.
Yeah,
Putting
thanks,
on
yeah.
a face.
The
Yeah, you know,
small talk.
comedy's great. Yeah, no, yeah, you definitely. No, I know you've been meaning to get to one for 5 years. I know. One of these times,
We're actually having one in your mom's
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah, one of these times, you might give a shit. I'm sure of it. But like, and I know that's what I'm signing up for by going down there. But I had this moment as we kind of rounded the corner where I said to Alyssa out loud, I go, I just hope we fucking don't see anybody.
Yes, I had the
I go,
same.
I hope we don't see
dialogue.
anybody we know. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah. And she's like, why? I go, I don't want to do it. I go, I don't. I just
Sometimes you
want to
just
get.
wanna
I go, I just
exist.
want to get a sandwich.
Yeah.
And like 5 seconds later, I saw you.
Mhm.
And-
God damn it.
No, I'm gonna.
I said no,
I'm
God.
gonna. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the rare on-air compliment here.
Oh God, here it comes. I'm gonna relish.
It was comforting to see you. One, because you seemed excited to see me,
Mm-hmm.
and two, like you get it, and like I was around like the two people that get it at once, you and Alyssa, and like it was like a moment of like I thought I didn't want to see anybody, and I didn't want to talk to anybody, but I had this moment of like remembering, like, okay, there are a few people that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, that you do want to see, and that,
There's a few people that
You're-
have those box seats. Yeah.
and I don't know if that was the world being like,
Yeah. I had the same feeling as soon as I, saw, because Kyle said, oh, I think that, isn't that Justin? And I turn around and it was like sweatpants and skullet. I was like, duh. I was like, oh yeah. So it's, when you guys come, walking up, it was, and as soon as you said it was comforting, is exactly how I felt. I think it is really interesting though, like just earlier, how you were saying, like, I said, come over and hang out with us. And then you get there. And by that time I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I don't even remember it because that's how into where I'm at I am. It's like I have to do what makes me feel good in those moments. And people give you all that advice when your kid first dies, like, do what you need in the moment, take it moment by moment. Well, how long do I get that card for? Because it might be like that forever. It might be like, hey Justin, come over here and find me at the edge of the park when you get your sandwich. Okay, Justin, I don't like this anymore, I'm leaving. Like, it might just be that way.
And that's okay,
It is that way. It is okay.
because you're an adult and it's
Right.
America. And I don't mean,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time I'm like, America.
But people
But you
are
can do
so-
that.
You can totally do that. You can totally do that. But people get very, because even you said, like, there was a moment there where you probably felt, well, I thought she wanted to hang out. Now she's ditching me. I mean, like, you just have this moment where you sort of, it's just instinctual, where we're just like, we kind of make it about us in those moments. And it's just how it goes. But I just need for my skyboxers to be okay with it. And because if anything, I am very transparent in just saying what I need and what's on my mind. I cannot help but do it. Like, I have to get out of here. you know, or like, hey, let's go back to my house. As soon as we got back to my porch, I was just at ease and just felt better. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad I had the sandwich. I'm glad, you know, I stretched Kyle a little bit and making him get messy. And like, it was fun, and the music was great. And there was people everywhere, and that felt really good. It was almost like 600,000 people hadn't perished the year before. It was wild. It was really crazy. And so, but it is sometimes where you just want to exist in that space and not have to exasperate any extra energy. And I mean that in the most sincere way, is like, it takes serious energy to even have the small talk, which is why I don't do it.
I think another big part of it, I think for both of us, is I think as people, me and you are both the type of people that are very conscious of trying to be as authentic as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you said, like you're very like blunt about stuff, and like I try to make sure the me that I give to people is real, it's the me. You know what I mean? It's the me that I am all the time. Give or take different volumes or levels of crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you meet people that you just know, like, okay, you're being a character right now. You know what I mean? You meet people that you're just like, okay, you obviously like either aren't comfortable being yourself, or you haven't figured yourself out, or whatever it may be. But like when you just meet someone that's just putting on big time, like big time, we all do it a little.
Yeah.
But when you meet someone that's just like, okay, this isn't
Real.
SNL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels gross to me to do. And that, I think that's part of it, is like the going down there knowing that like, hey, yep, hey, how are you? Yeah, I feel like I'm putting on.
You are putting on.
And like, it kind of grosses me out a little bit.
But there's a jealousy. I can think of one person in particular who's a figurehead in the community. He's got pictures all up over, you know, he's a household name, you know, and he is that guy. He's very like schmoozy and friendly and shaking the hands and doing the networking, and you know, he's good looking. He's got the good looking wife and the good looking kids. And
I thought you were talking about me, and then you said
I am talking about you, Joe. I am talking about you.
That's
God,
not me.
oh, it took you this long to catch
The wife
on.
and kids, they are good looking, but
Yeah, they are. They're knockouts. Joe is less than desirable. No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
see, this is good. You need to be able to tell people
No,
things
Joe.
and not worry about their response.
No,
so
Joe's great.
get back to your thing.
Best
but-
mullet. But anyways, so this is who I've always known this person to be, and I did see them up there, and there was a moment where even though he's just being who he's always been in all the years that we've known each other, and I'm watching him do the shaking the hands and kissing the babies and whatever, I mean, he's, you know, doing his thing, I just thought, he is nowhere near the heavy at all. Like, what would your life look like if your kid died? That's where my head goes in those weird moments. I don't stay there very long, but it's there. I go to church. I've only been once since Easter, and the whole time I'm watching the families file in there, and they've all got smiles, and they're all dressed to the nines with their matching sweaters and stuff, and I'm just like, would you still match each other if your wife had died? What would, you know, like, just how they're nowhere near the heavy, and I don't even want that for them. But I wonder, I see this figurehead, and I think to myself, how different could he get? Like, how dark could he get?
But you realize, isn't it, you don't want that for them, but you realize they don't get it, and they don't want it either, and they don't want yours either. And it's just like,
yeah,
I
don't want to give it to
like,
you.
if we were, you know what I mean? There's that, like, that social cue that, like, you know what I mean? That there's just a certain, you know,
We're
what
on
I mean?
different planes.
You don't do that, and it's not what you do when people ask you how you're doing. That's not what they're asking. But like,
Right.
for me to be like standing there waiting for my sandwich in the food truck, and someone's like, "Hey man, what's been going on?" It's like, well, I've cried at least twice today. I miss my mom like fucking a lot. like a lot. Like it's been over a year and I'm not dealing with it super well. A lot of people think I should go to therapy. Haven't done it.
Yeah. I'm self-employed and I don't even have insurance. Let me tell you about my financial situation.
Yeah, I have to drag myself into work every day because life seems kind of meaningless. How are you?
Yeah.
That's when they're like, yeah, I got to talk to someone. Someone just
Kids are
called.
playing
Yeah,
t-ball,
right.
are they?
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good,
yeah.
yeah. Your Cocker Spaniel's doing well? Like,
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
does any of it matter?
This is dark.
I mean, really, does it? Does any of it matter? This fucking act we're all putting on, this fucking show we're all partaking in.
Oh.
I don't mean like being alive. I just mean all the like societal, like,
Yeah.
because when something this bad happens to you, it's like, you know, like,
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
yeah, sure. See, that was in English, bud. Yeah, I know. It's nerve wracking. What's really going on?
Oh my God. Oh, yes. He said what he said. It's true.
And the fact that you understood all of it is just
did.
shows how.
It's yeah. Yep. Yeah. Do you talk to yourself?
Probably more than I ought to.
I talk to myself out. Do you talk to yourself, Joe?
All
Out
the
loud?
time.
Out loud?
Oh, yeah.
Me too. A lot more now.
If I had as captivating of a voice as Joe Malone, I'd probably talk out loud to myself a lot more.
I talk to myself when I'm editing audio
Oh yeah.
because I'm alone, and then I'll have people like in the room like waiting for their stuff to get done being edited, and I'm like, there we go, got that. We'll move that over there. And
Oh yeah, I've noticed that about you for
And
sure.
this and there's that. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Normally I'm alone, so
Yeah.
just look at your phone and
The
be
stuff
awkward.
you don't hear when he's
Yeah.
all by himself. It's like, all right, here we are, sitting here. All right, there's the toilet paper. We're gonna grab that, and then we're gonna go ahead.
I'm not that bad. I'm not calling old high school football games from 1985 from memory or anything like that.
Oh my gosh. That'd be some crazy shit. Literally.
So,
Oh, yeah.
when you're talking about like these people, and boy, aren't they happy? Don't they have a great life? Are you jealous? Are you
ways.
Are you wanting them to feel what you feel, but yet you don't want to share
No,
that feeling
God,
with
no.
them?
Yeah,
I
I don't.
don't
I,
wish
I'm
this
just trying to. I mean,
Right.
I feel two things.
great moment that we
Yeah.
had there, but
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
like, is there more to it than
Yeah.
that?
I feel there are two specific things I feel when I see that. I hope you can stay ignorant for as long as possible because I don't
To
want
pain.
Yes,
To that
I
kind
don't
of
want
pain.
that inflicted on anyone, even, and there are a couple people that I just have total disdain for, even them, because it just totally messes with you. And secondly, like, my head always goes to, I remember that. That's the toughie. It's like, I remember that.
Same. For me, it's like a lot of people, and I know they mean well, like a lot of people lay the like, well, remember the good times. Remember all the memories you had. And even after a year, all I'm able to do with that is look at it in the context of, I don't get to do it again. So it's hard for me to celebrate anything good that happened while she was here, because all I can think about is how it can't ever happen again.
I think when people say to you, think about the good times, relish in the memories, it's an appropriate thing to say years later. Please stop saying it to the bereaved, the newly bereaved, because the memories are the most painful part.
I
They're
can't
the
even.
most
I can't even do
painful
it
part.
yet.
I can't. It's all I have, but it's so painful. Don't tell me to relish and
Because
to
it brings you right back there.
yeah.
Like nothing's changed.
So tell me that in 10 years. Tell me that in 15. And I know, again, that it's just an inappropriate response because people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, I know
but
what
I'm,
they
I'm
mean.
telling you, please do not do that.
I like you better when you're happier. So here's something I think would work to make you happier.
Right. Tell me a dick joke.
Yeah.
Tell me a dick joke for
And
God's sakes.
that's
tell
what
me
I
a
was
dick
gonna
joke.
say is when, like when you're having those moments and those days, and I'm able to pick up on it with you a little bit more now, even if you're not blatantly putting it out for people. There's little things that I notice, but like. Gosh, what the hell? This is weird. I don't remember for sure exactly where I was going with that.
Well,
but
it started with a dick joke. So I
yeah,
know you're gonna
yes,
finish
okay,
it
yeah,
with
no,
a
yeah.
dick joke.
So for me, like, a lot of people, like you said, are those people that are like, oh, if you just want to cry together, or I'm here for you if you just want to talk, or I wish I had the words, or I'm so sorry, or, like, oh, I get that, something like that happened to me, or there's the 100 different
Mhm.
angles that people take. For me, when you're as your friend, when I'm checking in on you or whatever you want to call it, my initial thought always is, fuck, I wish I had something super funny to say right now. Like I stop before I even, and if it's not good, like if I don't have something funny, I don't do it, because I'm not going to come at you with some half-ass shit when you're having a hard time and like just some weak-ass attempt at being funny. It's either we're knocking it out of the park or we're just...
Yeah.
So, but I know that's...
Yeah.
For you, it's... You know what I mean?
Well, and that's something that I always appreciate about our banter, like the days that, we voice note and stuff like that, is that it always ends up circling back to comedy, because that's just... Our relationship is equally as rooted in sadness as it is with humor, and it'll comes back around to humor, and it always ends in usually a humorous. I mean, the day we pretended to be the church pastors, and we were, I mean, I wish we could archive that shit. You guys could listen to. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but I feel like that's how if you really want to like be there for the bereaved, really know them, really see them, really understand how they tick. And if you don't know, the phrases to say are, I love you, I am here. And that covers everything. You don't even have to say, I don't have the words, I can't imagine what you're going through. You don't even need to do that. Skip it, skip it, skip it, skip it. Go down to the basics, strip it all the way down to the basics.
I'm here if you need something.
Yes, I'm here. I am here. I love you. Important words. And then come at me with a dick joke.
But it better be good.
But it better be good. Lisa Gruette, thank you for the dick
Yeah.
jokes. That was one of the best things ever. But yeah.
So it's tough, for people that at our core want to be social and want to be friends, but to feel that weird tug of rope between looking after yourself and wanting to be that person that...
It's hard to set boundaries when you're a yes man anyway. And then you throw this in there, and like I totally, you see like old movies or whatever where they had the old crotchety widower who's just a cynic. He's just like bitter and cynical, and he was already kind of like I just don't need people. I'm not a that's a no man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He wasn't a cynic. He was just like, nah, I don't feel like doing that. And
Right.
then he went through some hard stuff, and then he really didn't want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
So toughen up out there, get some thick skin, know your people's heart. And if they say, I can't do it right now, I don't have the capacity, maybe ever, will you? Maybe you'll stick around. Maybe you won't.
Because I don't see it. Like I talked to so many people that have been through similar things as us decades ago, and the common theme is always, it doesn't get better. You know what I mean? You
just learn to deal with
It
it.
doesn't get better. It doesn't become okay that they're gone. There's nothing okay about that. It's not all right. And like, even, like you put together days, maybe you put together weeks, like even just like I just had, life has a weird way of just slamming you in the face with it sometimes. This last week, it was like a Sunday afternoon. It was really nice out last Sunday, and we didn't have nothing to do, and we were in town, and we were kind of driving around, and my wife's like, we should just like go take off, just drive in a direction, and when we get to it, we'll find something to eat, like in some little town we don't even know about, see what happens. That was the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we started heading like southwest on like purposefully not taking busy roads, like little county roads, and just like, oh, which way should we turn now? And like no destination in mind. And a couple hours in, we found ourselves in Parkersburg, which is, I don't know,
And you went southwest?
east. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my
east.
God.
Yeah,
Like,
east. And
Parkersburg, New
why
York.
So-
were you driving?
my grandmother's
Do you
buried.
remember the ocean?
Yeah, right. You went the wrong way. My grandma's buried in a little town outside of Parkersburg called Stout, Iowa. It's barely a town. And my intention wasn't to end up over there, but I was already over there. So I thought, my wife's like, we should probably stop because there's no other reason for us to be over there. And I didn't know when we would again. So we stopped, and my grandma's there, and next to her, her parents, and behind them are my grandpa's parents. My great grandma that's buried there died in like 1961, so it's like before my mom was even born. Just
Mhm.
like, and I don't know those people, but I see these old gravestones, you know what I mean? These 3 generations. And I think about my grandma that I did know, and she's been there for 9 years now. And I think about how my mom's been gone and how that first year went by super fast. And it's like, I don't have cousins and aunts and uncles and now I don't have I had my mom and I had my grandma, and now I don't have either. And like, I never thought I'd be that guy at 36 who it was a weird like punch in the gut of like, dude, you don't have any family. I got a wife. I got great friends. I have her family that's willing to let me eat turkey with them in November, buy me shiny presents in December. But it was a very weird
Mm-hmm.
thing to think about. Like, I like to think I've got some years left. I want to have some years left. I want to be around a long time. But it's weird to think that all of those things going forward are different now. It's weird. It's hard to even put it in words. Like, listening, I was upset, and she's like, like, tell me what you're feeling. It's like, it's hard to even articulate like what that's like.
It's a totally new feeling, like doesn't have a word. You can't put a
Yeah,
thumb on it. Yeah.
it's something a lot of people don't even experience.
Mm-hmm.
People that have big families, there's always going to be family members at your funeral
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to outlive you. But at only 36 years old, like,
Yeah.
and that's 14 months post, tragedy.
The day you sent me that that message about the cemetery and stuff like that, I started thinking about my own. And I have a really young family. My parents were young. My grandparents were relatively young when they passed away. But my family is really, really small. And when my parents are gone, and their siblings are gone, that's it for me. My sister's gone. I have one living sister, but I'm right there. I'm right behind you there. And then I think about Claire, and I think about how there's just the three of us. You know, her grandparents aren't connected to her in any way, and they'll be long gone. There's just no one. And so part of me, this is going to sound dark, but I'm just going to say it, is grateful that the pain will end from my family line, and that nobody will ever have to feel this, that I have some sort of blood connection to ever again, that they'll never have to feel what this is like, that it will just stop one day and we'll just be together and it'll be over. I just said that out loud. That was dark, but I really did. I thought
It is
that.
what it is, man.
It is, yeah. But you know, it twists your guts up, you know, to think like, I'm here, I'm treading this ground alone.
There's not anywhere
Yeah.
to go. There's not anyone to shop for. There's not.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm my life with my wife is great, and
Yeah.
she's, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She's my family.
And like, we're both
But-
very blessed to have amazing friends. I
Yeah.
mean, those are the family that you choose for
But there's
yourself.
moments where, like,
Yeah.
when you think it's not something that keeps me up every night,
Yeah.
but it's obviously very real and very like intense
Mm-hmm.
to think about. Like, there's just a lot that goes along with it, like little aspects, you know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
just like that whole car ride home was just kind of like thinking about like how weird that is, and like the thought of like, oh, is that, you know, some people would take that as like, oh, well, then it's, you know, do you have kids to, you know what I mean? Like, well, you don't have anyone before you, do you start over? And it's like, why? You know what I mean? I've never been that guy that like wants kids anyways, really, but like the thought of creating a child who never got to know my mom doesn't seem worth it to me.
And like,
It is, though.
it's amazing. It is amazing, but I think,
You can share stories. And I know that I'm not going to dig you out of your pity party, but
No, you're fine. No, it's perspective is important.
yeah, it is in my mind, because we have that situation in our house
Yeah.
where one grandmother is only alive in memories and
Mhm.
pictures, and that's it. There's no video. There's nothing like that. And Grandma Jody gets brought up weekly, if not multiple times a week. And, you know, what would she think about this? And we can share those stories about what she would think about this. How would she react? What would she find funny about this situation? How pissed would she be if she heard that you did that at school?
yeah,
Those sorts of things.
yeah.
But that's my perspective on
Sure.
it. So, again, I'm not trying to give you a
No,
ladder.
honestly, like a lot of times, Joe, like when you tell me stuff or give me ideas, I don't think jealous is the right word, but your perspective on a lot of stuff like that is like, I hope to be able to get to a point where I can look at things similarly to the way that you look at a lot of things
Mhm.
in that aspect of life, you know what I mean? And with loss and things like that, just the stories you've told. It's an admirable mindset that
It is. It's awesome.
could take me a long time, but I think I hope to.
It is.
I don't want you to ever think that just because I'm not able to get myself, you
No.
know what I mean? I appreciate your insight a lot. So.
Yeah. Well, no, and my point wasn't like, you know, sit down in your hole and, you know, this sucks and
Right.
all that sort of stuff. But like there is a flip side
Sure.
to it where it is doable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's
And granted, I'm on the other side of the coin with the parent loss and
Yeah.
whatnot. I'm the outsider
Mhm.
there, but
yeah.
I mean, I feel that Bailey, my wife, enjoys sharing those moments. I mean, she wouldn't have named our child after her mom
Right.
if she didn't want to share that with the
Yeah.
kids.
That's cool.
And I've had, you know, like I said, me and Bailey have had a long conversation about that. So it's like, it's interesting to get different people's perspective that have, like I said, perspective is important. Like 1 year out and 10 years out is as many similarities as there are. There's a lot of differences too. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, as sad as this sort of episode took a turn after an hour and 23 minutes, it's still really fresh. You know, I have to remind myself of that. Like I am settling into a crevasse right now, and I just have to be there. And I probably am in probably one of the more darker spots that I've been in. And there's no rationale to it. I can't put a finger on why that is or whatever. But, you know, I have conversations with people like Joe in their kitchens, you know, moms who are 15 years out from losing their children. And we always share a tear. We always talk a little bit about it. And there's moments where it's so evident, it's super, super fresh still to them. But their perspective on it is what's so refreshing. And I'm the word is not jealousy, I'm longing for that, I think.
Yeah.
I'm longing to have like Joe's perspective. And
life has a weird way
Yeah.
of like being its own Band-Aid, where it's like the distractions of life or the time, and as you settle into things, like, you know, when you like cut your finger, like for some weird reason, as soon as you put a Band-Aid on, it hurts a little less.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's anything on the Band-Aid, but it just the wound feels safer,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels taken care of. But if you were to rip that Band-Aid off, you'd be quickly reminded that shit still sucks.
Yeah.
And life has a weird way of doing both things, where it distracts you and makes you think that everything's okay, and time has a weird way of making you be like, you know, like, oh, I'm all right. And then something rips that fucking Band-Aid off. And you're like, oh, yeah, I still have this big, gaping, festering wound.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wouldn't have to looking at it because there's a Band-Aid covering it up, but it's
Right.
still there.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than the analogy I was just thinking of. Can I share my analogy?
Yes, please.
Okay. So again, we're getting way too localized for people that aren't in Mason City, but you know Monroe and 12th Street?
Yeah, I live
Right
right
there.
over there.
Okay, so you know that like manhole cover kind of hump in the road right before you go
Yeah.
up the bridge?
Yeah.
That man, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because there's two choices. There's two types of people driving on that section of road heading west on 12th Street. And if you picture that bump, that manhole cover, as the tragedy, as the all-encompassing thing that is in your life, you've got two choices there. You can either A, go around it to the right because there's room to do that, or B, drive over top of it and you're going to feel it. You know, you're going to, oh God, I drove over that thing. Most of the time I try and avoid that feeling. I try and avoid that sensation and go around it. But then every once in a while, you forget to go around it and you don't even notice that you drove over it and you're going at the top of the bridge and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even feel that going by that. Like that manhole cover, that bump there, it can be tragedy. Sometimes it stares you right in the face. And you're like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
that's
I
good.
forgot to avoid that thing. Other times you blow right over top of it and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I didn't even think about that today. You know, it's been 9 months, 12 months, whatever it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
you know, or
Yeah.
whatever the milestone is. And you just right over top. And it's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
That's the crazy roller coaster in the night feeling about it, is like when you have those days, you're like, huh, I got this shit figured out. And then
Yeah.
like,
and then the next time you go over, you're like,
God.
ah, my freaking shocks.
Yeah, right.
God
yes.
almighty.
Yeah.
Should have went right. God.
and you like, I have, maybe you do too. Like there's like almost like, even if it's subconscious, there's a moment of like, you're mad at yourself a little bit or almost like disappointment and like, man, I'm not doing good. I thought I
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing good and I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. That's the weird expectations that we set for ourselves and that we set in societal standards. Like, gosh, you know, Justin's mom's been gone a year. You'd think he'd be doing a little bit better. So did I, man.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I'm right there with you.
yeah.
And if you got any
so-
tips, keep them to yourself.
right, please. Oh, we went way over. We're at an hour and a half.
Well,
We needed it,
Well,
I
yeah.
think.
to the people that are still listening,
Yes.
text 42127, the keyword 1 hour, 29 minutes, and you win nothing. Thanks for listening.
Oh,
Don't text that. I don't know what that goes
yeah,
to.
no, well, I don't know. I think you should see what happens.
Eastern European law enforcement or something, like
gosh.
some
You've
accidental.
reached the Gestapo. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts, guys.
It's important to like look after yourself, and I think it's an interesting line to ride between looking after yourself and still being not letting that make you a, I don't want to say bad person, but like, because it's tough, it's blurry, but I think that until you are able to prioritize yourself in any situation, where you're not hurting someone else, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, like a neutral. I don't want to take that as like, oh, fucking step on anyone you have to help yourself. I just mean like to truly be able to prioritize your own self is important, and it's hard, but I think it's something that a lot of us need to figure out how to do better.
Tragedy or no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think on the other end of it, we as people need to find a way to not take that so personally, which makes it hard for people to do because they're worried that
what did I do wrong?
They're not able to do that to their people because of the people will take it too personally.
Or like, don't take it as a
slight.
Yeah, right. Or yeah. If I just say like, I don't want to read your manifesto of sadness because I don't have the mental space. Don't think of it as like, well, I mean, I guess what you're going through is way worse than what I'm going through, and don't do that either, But like you said, take care of yourself, and I'm gonna, because you said that, and you gave me the room and the permission to do it, and I'm gonna, and you're gonna, and Joe's gonna. And don't get all butthurt about it when we do.
I got a rhyme.
Ooh.
Walk away and live again another day. If you're not comfortable with the situation, you don't want to help the people out, you're getting too freaked out, walk away and live again another day.
Huh.
I do that. There's times I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nah, not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I usually get forced to, and then I enjoy myself,
Yeah.
which we covered there. But other times it's like, no.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm playing FIFA. That's what I'm doing tonight. Not putting on a shirt. Walk away.
Maybe no pants either.
No, there's pants. I got a brand new couch. We ain't messing that thing up yet.
That's the couch we only wear pants on. That's not enough.
Company's over. Put them on the pants couch.
We don't have plastic on it, so.
So if you're sleeping over at Joe's house, you're safe. If you're sleeping on the
Yes.
couch, no butts have been on there.
But I think that's, good advice. Take care of yourself first, and if people don't like it, send me a message and I may get back to you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Good stuff.
What do you think?
In clutch. I think yes. I think you cannot pour from an empty cup. I think it's okay to use no as a complete sentence. I think I can do that. And I think that if someone chooses to see it for anything other than what it is a them problem and not a me problem. Because people who really know me and know my heart, if I've given to you for 15 years this thing, and I've given, I'm still that person. I'm still the person who did those things. I'm still the person that was the ear or the shoulder or the whatever. Know my heart and know that this is what my heart needs. And you said it was okay, so I'm going to do it. So that's what we're going to do. Let's check back on that and see where our progress
we'll
is. Okay.
Give it the old college try, I
Give it the
suppose.
old. We're just trying to do our best out here.
Everybody's trying their best out here.
Well, this is great being here with you guys, and just always want to thank thank our listeners out there. Maybe I have one. Maybe I have one listener.
You think it's like we're like a boy band, or like certain people like,
Oh yeah.
hardcore. Like I'm Team Tiff.
Yeah. Who was your sad radio person?
What a horrible like fan Team Justin must be. It's like
show yourselves. I need to know what you
dark
look like.
dungeon of a basement they're meeting on for fan club Thursdays. Getting together for Sundays to like, you think like there's like people that get together like, oh my, it's friends with death benefits night. Who's bringing the snacks tonight?
Oh God, I got the tissues.
I was gonna say I got the Kleenex.
God, so sad.
Ooh. I hope for those of you out there, none of you are doing that.
Yeah. But if you are, we totally want to come.
What would you cater that with?
Ooh,
Oh man,
What's sadness food?
stuff that's bad for you.
ice cream.
Bad decision food.
Ice cream with Cheetos mixed in.
I feel like you cater it with a Walmart personal shopper. You just be like, just whatever you want.
I feel like a good gauge of how me and my wife are doing emotionally is how
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
the
Like, do
snack-
you walk around with them, or do
People,
they
no,
shop
you
for
send them a list and they shop for
Oh.
you.
Okay.
So you just send them a random list, and all the list says is like, I'm super sad, and then just let them go for it.
Yeah, figure. Don't let me down.
No,
Things
don't.
are already going bad, so make sure you nail this. I was gonna say, like, we go on these road trips on the weekend. Like, I feel like a good gauge of how emotionally bad or good we're doing is by the snacks we get at Casey's before we leave for a road trip. If we're just like, if we come out of there just stocked up with junk food, it's just like, it's just like things aren't going super good. We eat our feelings at the Paulson household.
I think sadness food is like Easter M&Ms.
Oh, like you're desperate. You're going
Like those are
going to
just
the archives
the
of food.
worst. Like,
Oh, I
they
thought you meant you're
taste like-
digging around for
No.
old candy.
no, the Easter M&Ms just they taste like chalk
Mm.
and sad.
Yeah, but don't you want, when you're bummed out, don't you want food that's not going to make you sadder? What kind of like
I don't know.
self-annihilation is that? That's like a weird like subconscious like, I don't deserve to be happy. I'm sad and I want to stay sad, so I'm eating Easter M&Ms. It's like one time
I deserve this.
Jake told us one time on a road trip, he opened up and he's like, I always pick the worst, grossest looking piece of pizza in the spinner at Casey's because I don't feel like I deserve the good one.
Jake.
I'm like, that is dark. Like, that is so dark.
Oh.
Get the gross one, you
Oh
piece
my
of shit. You don't
God.
deserve melty cheese. Get the one that's been there since 9 a.m. That's what you deserve.
You deserve paper on the bottom of your pie.
Oh my. Wow, that is some serious. That's self-loathing to a
Maybe we should have
level.
him in to talk about
I would
that.
love to do that. Jake, will you could be on the show? Okay. So listen, what I would say in closing is if you're going into a Casey's gas station and you're coming out with an armload of Funyuns and Nutty Butters and Little Debbie snacks and Butterfingers and chocolate milk,
Or a stale piece of pizza when there was a perfectly good one.
that's
sitting
right. That's okay.
there. It is.
We said it's okay. They said take care of yourself,
Yeah.
and that's how you need to take care of yourself. Do it.
We're not mad at you.
That's right. But until then,
Hang in there, guys.